Dear friends, you already study about the capacitor, resistor, different type of electronic instrument. Let us see today we study about the capacitor. You see here in my hand, this is a capacitor which I have the two legs is there. In these two legs, this is the cylindrical capacitor. The type of the capacitor is different. Today we will try to study about the construction of this capacitor in the form of practical forms. So let us see, there is a different type of capacitor in circuit which I try to show you with the help of in different circuit. So let us see friends, this is one of the circuit here. In this circuit you realize that this is one capacitor already mentions in the given PCB circuits. Now this capacitor which we discussed just now, this capacitor, I have to try to open the capacitor, the construction of the capacitor, and then the charging process of the capacitor. So let us see friends, we will try to see the construction of a small capacitor. What is inside the construction is that this capacitor is constructed by the different type of the polar and non-polar material. I open one capacitor friends, this capacitor which I crack here, you can observe here, which capacitor which I crack here, and this cracking which you are observing here, this cracking shows that in which the capacitor is totally open, in which the material, you realize friends, this is the material working as a non-polar material which is non-conductor but working as a conductor. This material is usable in the form of store the charge inside this capacitor. This is the capacitor which we are using nowadays in electronics equipment. So let us see how the charging process of the capacitor. I have another capacitor friends, and that capacitor is a big one capacitor. This is the biggest capacitor which is used maximum storage capacity of the charge. Now let us see how the charge is stored in this big capacitor. So I try to store the charge inside this capacitor. Let us see, there is a two terminal plus and minus that you can see easily friends. This capacitor I have to put here, this is the electrical supply. From the electrical supply, if I will just switch on, first I will try to charge in this capacitor practically, which you have to see practically how the charging process is going on inside the capacitor. Charge is stored inside the capacitor. So let us see now, I will try to charge this with respect to given this capacitor. You realize that friends, at the time of the charging process, the charge is there of a given this capacitor. With the help of this capacitor, we can get the charge inside this capacitor, and given this capacitor already charged, and this charge inside the capacitor, I will try to show you how this charge is transferred in discharge. See the practical things, the charging is going to be discharged with respect to the given this capacitor. These are the practical experiment which is process of charging and discharging of this capacitor friends. Okay, thank you.